Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about the Sautekh Dynasty, going through all their unique stuff for the actual dynasty itself. Then I'm going to be picking out my top 3 units that are going to work best within this actual dynasty code. Now there will actually be a bonus pick in this video for one of our members, so every time we do one of these dynasty videos, one of our members will be selecting an additional pick for us. Now before we get into the video, we've got to shout out the Stormlord yet again for bringing out another idea in the video ideas section of the actual Discord itself. So if you want to get involved in that, just simply join the Discord, link will be down below. Find video ideas on the left hand side and then put down your idea and maybe it'll be in a video. So let's begin with the Sautekh Dynasty. So they've got the Relentless Advance Dynasty code. So it does the following things. So each time a morale test is taken for a unit within this code, you can reroll that test. Yeah, that's okay I guess. I mean, we do have a leadership value of a 10, so it isn't really that useful, but they've got it anyway. Then instead of following the normal rules for rapid fire weapons, models within this code shooting rapid fire weapons make double the amount of attacks if the target is within 18 inches. So normally you would half the actual weapon's range. So if you've got a Gauss Flayer, for example, from your Necron Warriors, normally that's 24 inches. So if you half that down, it'll be 12 inches at rapid fire range. So you're getting 2 shots at 12 inches. However, with this dynasty code, that increases to 18 inches. So it's good for your rapid fire weapons there. Then to add to that, if you're using the protocol of Conquering Tyrant at any time in the game, and the dynasty code that you've selected is the Sautekh Dynasty, then you'll be able to select both of the directives instead of just the one. So we're going to be going through that as well. So the protocol of Conquering Tyrant, if you weren't aware, Directive 1, add 3 inches to the range of the unit's aura abilities to a maximum of 12. It also increases the Lord's Will, Mine Will Be Done and Rites of Reanimation by an additional 3 inches as well, to a maximum of 12 inches. And then there's Directive 2, the unit is eligible to shoot in which a turn that it fell back. If it does so, each time the model makes a ranged attack, you subtract 1 from the attacker's hit rolls. So that part alone could actually save you from requiring a Royal Warden, because if you've got this active protocol as your permanent protocol all game round, then you can simply be falling back no matter what turn it is without a Royal Warden. Okay, so before we actually get onto our top 3, there's a few other additional unique items that can only be selected if you're taking the Sautekh code. The first one is the Warlord trait, which is Hyperlogical Strategist. While the Warlord is on the battlefield, each time you spend a command point to use a stratagem, you roll a d6, on a 5+, that command point is refunded. That one is definitely worth taking. Now I know Warlord traits cost you 1 command point now, with the new Nephilim chapter approved, but within 5 turns you should easily get at least 1 command point back. Even if you fail that roll in a given turn, that's just 1 stratagem within that turn. You may use another stratagem within the same turn. You are limited to only getting 1 command point back, but you're likely to get it back, so it's definitely worth taking this Warlord trait whenever you can. Now speaking of stratagems, the unique stratagem to this dynasty code is Methodological Destruction. Now it is 2 command points, so it's a little bit pricey, but you do get 2 command points per turn now instead of 1, so it is usable. In your shooting phase, after a unit has finished making its attacks, select one enemy unit that was targeted by the attack made by the model in the unit. Doesn't have to hit, just targeted. Then until the end of the phase, each time an attack is made against that specific unit, friendly Sautekh units in the army get +1 to their attack hit roll. So it's kind of like an army-wide Mine Will Be Done if you like, and it doesn't have to be with core units as well. It could be anything as long as they've got the Sautekh keyword. So that's the stratagem. Then finally we're onto the relic, which is the Vanquisher's Mask. Now I'm not that keen on this one if I'm honest with you. A few people in the comments I know do quite like this one. So it's a Sautekh model only, of course. At the start of the fight phase, you select one enemy unit within 3 inches of the bearer. Then that unit will not be eligible to fight until all eligible units in your army have done so. So the bearer himself doesn't actually need to be within engagement range, just 3 inches alone will do the trick. The Sautekh Dynasty is quite a shooty dynasty. They don't really want to be getting into a fight. Even if they fight second, probably still going to be losing some models if you've got to that stage. So it's not one that I tend to pick when I do play this dynasty code, but you've got the option there. Okay, so let's get on to the actual top 3 Sautekh units. Now this is just my opinion, of course. If you do disagree or have any other opinion, put it down in the comments below. 100% welcome different opinions, but this is just my one. So the Sautekh Dynasty is known for its Silver Tide, known for lots of Necron Warriors, Immortals, Ghost Arcs, and anything that can buff those kind of units. Also Tomb Blades as well, don't forget. They've also got the rapid fire weapons. But yeah, anything with rapid fire or anything that can buff those units that do have rapid fire weapons. So your Technomancers, your Overlords, even the Triox Stalker with the targeting relay, getting everybody to reroll 1s. These are the kind of units you're likely to see when you're playing the Sautekh Dynasty. So let's go into number 3, my 3rd pick, and I've gone with a Ghost Arc. Now I really like the Ghost Arcs, as you guys know. Some of you guys don't actually like the Ghost Arcs, but for the Sautekh Dynasty they're pretty good. So of course they've got the Gauss Flayer arrays, 24 inches, they're rapid fire 5, so there's your rapid fire keyword right there. Instead of it being a 12-inch rapid fire range, it's going to be 18-inch range because, of course, that's what the Sautekh code does with Relentless Advance. So you're getting a little bit of extra range there. Now you could argue going with the Necron Dynasty, you get a bit of extra range anyway. So with the Necron Dynasty, it will take this to 27 inches as opposed to 24. And once you divide that down, that becomes only 13.5 inches, whereas this is 18 inches. So you get a little bit better range with your rapid fire weapons there. Now what I like about a Ghost Ark in particular, other than the fact that it's obviously pretty tanky, but in terms of the Sautekh code anyway, it's got the repair barge ability. So you're likely going to be taking a lot of Necron Warriors, and this Ghost Ark literally brings back D3 Lost Warriors every single time. Now it could even be D6 if you take the Stratagem, Reconstitutional Protocols. So yeah, that combined with other things such as a Necron Overlord with a Resurrection Orb, a Canoptic Reanimator, Technomancer, there's a lot of ways to keep your Necron Warriors alive, and this is just one of them. Then finally, just to add a little bit extra to our Ghost Arks, if you wanted to take just 10 Necron Warriors, you can throw them inside the Ghost Ark because it's a transport. Now, this combination is usually better when you're taking the Gorse Reapers as opposed to the Gorse Flayers, but you do have an option of getting some Necron Warriors high up the board, and yeah, they are troops after all, so they will have a natural objective secured. So that's number 3 in my list. Moving on to number 2, I've gone with the Tomb Blades. So they've of course got rapid fire option if you select it, which is the Twin Gorse Blaster. So they're 30-inch range, so when you half that, that's normally 15-inch range for the rapid fire, but again, it goes to 18-inch range because of the Dynasty code. Pretty good. This is now Strength 5 as opposed to Strength 4, and you're going to be getting 4 shots in rapid fire range per Tomb Blade. So plenty of shots there, and -2 AP, so not too bad at all on the AP side of things. These can be buffed quite nicely with the command barges with the My Will Be Done ability, so they're hitting on 2s. But yeah, the main reason for taking these in this dynasty is that rapid fire weapon again. Now before we get on to number 1, as mentioned in the intro, we're going to have a members honourable mention every time we do one of these videos, and today's one is going to be done by Loot and Scoot. So Loot and Scoot has actually saved the day because I totally forgot about Imotkeh the Stormlord, so that's actually what he's selected. So cheers for that, Loot and Scoot, you gave me a little bit of an assist there. Kind of kicking myself, how did I forget Imotkeh the Stormlord? He's actually a bit of a beast now. So he's got the Grand Strategist ability, so if your army is Battleforged, you receive 2 additional command points if you select this model as your Warlord. Now you're going to instantly spend one of those command points to actually buy him his Warlord trait, which is that Hyperlogical Strategist which we already mentioned earlier in the video. Any 5+ rolls will get your CP back, so you definitely spend one of those command points straight away getting that Warlord trait in. But because he actually gained 2 command points at the start of the game, now you've got an extra command point. Maybe you want to buy a relic, Veil of Darkness relic. You've got options now because you've now got command points pre-game. Now what's great about Imotkeh the Stormlord is, well, first of all, his abilities. My Will Be Done, core units within 9 inches get a +1 to the hit roll, pretty good, especially if you've got tons of Necron Warriors as already mentioned. You definitely want them hitting on 2s at 18-inch range with 2 shots each. He's got the Pharaoh ability, so you can be using that My Will Be Done ability twice. And furthermore, the Relentless March Aura ability, so Sautekh core units within 6 inches of this model gain an additional inch for their movement. In fact, going back to that My Will Be Done ability, don't forget if you are using that command protocol that's associated with the Sautekh Dynasty, that My Will Be Done ability will gain 3 additional inches in range, so this will actually go to a 12-inch range, again with the Pharaoh ability, so it's 2 units within 12 as opposed to 9. Now his more unique ability is actually pretty cool, so Lord of the Storm. It's only once per battle, but in your shooting phase, the model can call the storm. If he does, you select an enemy unit within 48 inches and visible to it. Now you can only select a character if the wounds characteristic is 9 or less, unless it's the closest enemy model to Imotkeh. Likely not going to happen, but it is what it is. Then you roll a d6 for each other enemy unit within 6 inches of the selected model. On a 4+, that unit suffers d3 mortal wounds. And then you roll a d6 for the actual model itself that you've selected. On a 4+, they suffer 3 mortal wounds. So if you've got a faction that's really bunched together, you're going to be throwing out quite a lot of mortal wounds there. So in some ways, this is actually better than some of our Catan powers, really. I know this is only once per battle, but yeah, it does quite a lot, and it's at 48 inches as well. Now that's just for his abilities. As for his actual weapons, they're also pretty decent. He's got 2 different range weapons. One's a Gauntlet of Fire, 12-inch range, Assault D6, Strength 5, -1 AP, 1 damage. Auto hitting as well, so it's effectively a heavy flamer there. Staff of the Destroyer, the shooting side of it, 18 inches, Assault 3, Strength 6, -3 AP and 2 damage. Then in melee, he's Strength 6, -3 AP and 2 damage again, the exact same stats there with his 4 attacks base. So that's the honourable mention from Loot and Scoot today. Now we're going to go to my number 1 selection when you're playing the Sautekh Dynasty, and it's kind of obvious where I'm going with this, but it's going to be the Necron Warriors, and I'm going to explain why. So they've got, of course, got the Gorse Flayers, as we've already mentioned a few times in this video. 24-inch range, rapid fire 1. That rapid fire range is going to be 18 inches, not 12 inches. What you want to be doing is taking these in a group of 20. Every unit of these should be 20, not 10s. First of all, it's going to help that morale check. If you do fail morale, you get to re-roll it. But the fact that you get to re-roll ones for your reanimation protocols is actually quite a big deal. Because there's also further ways to bring back models. So for example, the Resurrection Orb from an Overlord. That's one way of doing it, and that's obviously synergizing with that Mob Be Done ability again. You can take a Canoptic Reanimator for a +1 to those reanimation protocol rolls, re-rolling 1 still again. You could take the Repair Barge, as mentioned in our number 3 spot with a Ghost Arc, or you got the option of taking one of the Technomancers, even the standard Technomancer or the named one, Illuminazares, with the Right to Reanimation ability, bringing back D3 models each time. If you want to make your warriors even tankier, you can get a Chronomancer out and give them a 5+ invulnerable save. Now that one is a little bit hit and miss, it depends on who you're going up against with that one, but in a lot of matches I've used that idea and it's worked really well. And then finally, if you weren't to be using that command protocol where you can fall back and shoot, you've always got the option of a Royal Warden, and there won't be no -1 to hit doing it that way either. So guys, that's my top 3 units for the Sautekh Dynasty and the honourable mention from Loot and Scoot. Let me know down in the comments below, what is your top 3 for this Dynasty code and why? So if you haven't already guys, please remember to subscribe to the channel for more Necron content. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you next time.